If you often use the same layer styles or colors or fonts or other assets, then the Libraries panel can be a powerful way to store that content so that you can quickly apply it across multiple documents. The other advantage of using the Libraries panel is that any assets that you place in there are automatically saved into the cloud so that you can access them from home. In addition, you can share with other people all of the content that you store in a library if you want to. So first, I want to make a change to this document. I'll tap the T key to select the type tool. I've got Proxima Nova as the typeface, bold, 100 points, center aligned, and I've selected this lighter gray color as my foreground. I'm going to click in the image area, but if I do now, Photoshop is going to add the type within the shape. So let's just click on the bird layer and then click with the text tool, and I'll type in Canyonlands. I'll hold down the Command key and tap Return in order to commit to that text. Now, in the Libraries panel, we'll create a new library using the flyout menu. I'll choose Create New Library, and we'll call it Canyonlands, and click Create. Now, in order to start adding assets, I'm going to click on the shape color that has the foreground color that I want to store as part of my library. I'll click the plus icon, select Fill Color, and we can see it's been saved. I'll do the same for Shape 2, adding the fill color, as well as Shape 3, and finally Shape 4. So we can save different colors. We can also save different type characters. So I'll select Canyonlands in the Layers panel and click on the plus icon, and now I have the option to also save the character style. I can also add a layer effect. So let's add one to Shape 1. I'll select it in the Layers panel, click the Effects icon, and choose Inner Shadow. I'll reset it to the default and then just increase the size in order to add a little bit of dimension to the mountain. I'll click OK, then click the plus in order to add the layer style to my libraries. Right now we're looking at them in thumbnail view, but if you prefer, there's also a list view. We can also have Photoshop automatically sort them by type, or we can create our own groups. I'm going to return to sorting by type and thumbnail view. When I position my cursor over a color swatch, for example, it's going to give me the hex color. If I double click on that to rename it, I have to be careful because you'll notice that it applied that color to the shape layer because it was selected. So let's tap Escape, and then I'll use Command Z in order to undo it and make sure that I have something other than a shape layer selected. Then I can double click and rename this light brown. We can also store the contents of a layer as a graphic. So I'll select the bird, it's a shape layer, and I'll tap the V key to select the Move tool, and I'll drag and drop that small bird into the Libraries panel in order to add it. With the bird layer selected, I could also drag directly from the Layers panel into my Libraries panel. If I ever want to delete an asset, I can select it, right-click, and then choose to delete it. I can also add any layer groups or any photographs or smart objects into my library. I'll go ahead and make the rock layer here visible. We can see that it's set to overlay, just giving me this soft pattern through the mountains. I'll drag and drop it from the Layers panel into the Libraries panel. Now, technically, the Libraries panel can support any size graphics, including those layer groups that might include multiple high-resolution smart objects, but I wouldn't recommend storing really large files in your libraries because they might slow down the performance. And there's also a limit to 1,000 elements in your Libraries panel. In addition, you can save brushes in the Libraries panel. You can also save gradients in the Libraries panel. One important thing to note when you're working with these, if I select shape number 1 and I want to assign it a different color, I can go ahead and select one of the colors in the libraries and it will change that color. I'll use Command Z in order to undo that. If I don't have a shape layer selected and I double click on one of these colors, I can go ahead and change the color But when I click OK, it doesn't automatically change the color that's been applied to the different layers in the Layers panel. Likewise, if I went in and double-clicked on a shape layer and changed the color of the shape layer, that's not going to update the color swatch that I had previously saved. So as you can see, libraries are like having your own style sheet where you can store your colors and your character styles, your layer styles, and your graphics. And of course, when you save them and they're uploaded to the cloud, then you can access them if you were to log on using your Adobe ID from another computer. And you can use the flyout menu and actually collaborate and share links to your assets, which we'll talk about in a future video.